So I want to welcome everyone to the call. My name is Ross Garcia. I've been in the personal growth and development field for 10 years. Um, Before I got this information, I was very curious, trying to figure out what life was about. I'm 37. So I started in this business when I was like 27, okay? 27, 28. And a lot of people don't know this about me, but I actually almost died in 2010 in a car accident. And I actually almost killed someone else. He was actually in a coma. The guy, luckily, he survived. And I had to go through seeing this person, wake, like, move on with his life and go through therapy and stuff like that. And it really gets you to think, like, what the hell's wrong with us, right? Um, what's wrong with our 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 human beings, our species? Why do we do stupid shit? Excuse my language, but why do we do stupid stuff? Um, and I think for me, I was questioning reality. If you ever watched the movie The Matrix, Neo was in the Matrix. He was looking for a question. He had a question. He was looking for an answer to his question. And he felt like there was something happening behind the scenes. He didn't know what it was, but he felt like there was something happening behind the scenes. And I felt like that. I never really knew these principles. I didn't know that there was like laws to go by. Um, I didn't know that there was like universal basic principles. And it's very easy. It's very easy, guys. But what happens is everybody wants to act like they know what the hell they're talking about. And that's fine. You know, we got a bunch of people coming in on the call. Time for me to drink some water here. I actually just had lunch. I just worked out. I'm here at the gym right now in Marbella, Spain. So you cannot listen to anyone. If someone that doesn't have the results is trying to give you advice, you need to literally, I'm not telling you what to do, right? But you need to literally walk away from that person or make them think that you're into the conversation when in reality you're thinking about your major definite purpose. Auto suggestion is one of the main keys. And the reason that I talked about this chapter, identifying thoughts on chapter 3 and controlling the polarities, is because Napoleon Hill, there is like a myth going around back, like, saying that back in the days when he was writing Think and Grow Rich and the Laws of Success, that they didn't let him put the transmutation of energy. They didn't let him do that because the successful people that knew the secret didn't want everyone else to find out about it. So they tried to suppress this information. And Earl Nightingale was mentored by Napoleon Hill. And when Bob Proctor was broke, never, never was rich, was never happy, he was looking for the same question that Neo from the Matrix was looking for. I was looking for the same question that Neo in the Matrix was looking for. And what is that question? What's the question that you're looking for? You're curious. Um, so the question is different for everyone. Um, you might have a question like, usually when you don't understand this information, you're going to question something that you don't want. Okay, let me repeat that. You're going to question something like that you don't want, like, why am I always broke, you know or why can't I have the good life? And I really want you guys to take notes on this, because this is like years of research that I've done into the mind. Now, the mind is not the brain. The brain is something physical. The mind is an activity, and it's moving at a high speed of vibration, just like I'm moving right now. I'm adjusting myself. So as it moves, it has thoughts. There was a professor from the early 1900s named William James. He says that you have about 60,000 thoughts per day. And out of those 60,000 thoughts, you have to question which ones are the ones serving you. So when I look back at why I was asking myself these questions of like, why can I be successful? Why can't I be rich? All you had to do is control the polarity. Now, the polarity is like a magnet. It's attracting to you the things that you want, but it's also attracting to you the things that you don't want. And you have the ability to focus and to identify the thoughts that you have with your will, a higher faculty, your concentration factor. Like I talk about the other Napoleon, Napoleon Bonaparte, because he was actually the only one that went into Russia and took over Moscow. No one was ever able to do that. Adolf Hitler attempted it, and he ended up losing the war because he was fighting two fronts. He was fighting with Russia, and he was fighting with the UK, with France on the other side. So he lost that battle because he was trying to do what Napoleon Bonaparte did, but on a whole different level. Now, you have to have God's will. Ultimately, you have to have God's will, and it has to have something that benefits all humanity. So, if you ever go through the self confidence formula by Napoleon Hill, he says, I know that I have the ability to attract the things that I want in my life. I here and now promise to render such action. I know that any dominating thought persistently held in my mind will eventually reproduce itself in outward physical action. I here and now promise to render such action. I know that any anything I do that affects people in a negative way will never bring me my definite purpose. I know that, these things have to benefit everyone. It has to benefit all whomever it affects because you are connected to everyone in here. Now, because we're all connected and everything there ever is, ever was, and ever will be is 100% evenly present in all places at all times, that means that the life that you want is already here. But you need to see it. You need to crystallize your thought. You need to identify your thought. That's why I talked about this chapter, identifying your thought. Because if you have 60,000 thoughts, then we have to know what thoughts are the ones that are serving you, right? So identify it. And like I always say, all you need is a pen, okay? Now, this is not my pen. Usually I have a silver pen. I don't have it today. I asked someone for a pen just in case I need to take some notes and stuff like that as I talk to you guys. But Bob Proctor was always broke. And he met a man named Raymond Douglas Stanford that gave him the book, Think and Grow Rich. And then all of a sudden he started reading that book. He created a cleaning company that operated all around the world, parts of London, United States, and he basically made millions of dollars. Now, he started questioning his own reality and he went to Chicago, where I'm from, and he met Earl Nightingale. Now, Earl Nightingale was the biggest radio host in the 1960s. Was mentored by Napoleon Hill, Earl Nightingale. So Earl Nightingale told Bob Proctor, like, look, Bob, your mind is not your brain. You're dealing with something physical. You have higher faculties. You have God-given abilities, and subconsciously, Napoleon Hill has been showing you how to use them. And he's like, what? Are you serious? Like, is that how this stuff works? Yes, because we're dealing with unseen forces. We're dealing with frequencies. Now, a lot of people question reality and they don't realize that the frequency could make you see me and you. The frequency is in this phone right here. There's frequencies all around us, right? But we can't see it because it's like the air. We can feel the air, but we can't see the air. Like, did anyone ever come home and say, hey, mom, dad, guess what? I seen the air today. It talked to me, right? It made a sound like it was talking. I had a conversation for like 2 hours. No, they don't do that because the air doesn't talk. You might hear the air, right? But it won't have a conversation with you. At least I don't think so, right? So you're really dealing with infinite possibilities of a scenario that you're putting in your mind consistently because of the 60,000 thoughts. So that scenario is a role, okay? Now, Bob Proctor related it to this book called Art of Acting by Stella Adler. Now, Stella Adler taught method acting. A lot of people don't realize that Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Warren Beatty, even The Godfather, Marlon Brando were taught that style of acting, method acting. Now, she died, but the guy that wrote the book, his name was Kissel. Now, if you're trying to play the role in your movie, I would recommend for you to get that book, The Art of Acting. It basically shows you how to play the role. Because if you want to be the person in your mind, you have to act as if. So one of the things you do is like act as if. Now, for me, it's like, well, I made a million, right? Um, I guess you could say I'm not going to contribute to the rat race. Now, what does that mean? That means that I'm not out here in a car struggling, trying to get to work because I create my own economy. I was going to say academy because I'm thinking about the school that we're creating. Um, but yeah, I create my own reality, my own economy. And I'm not telling you to impress you. I'm telling you to impress upon you that these things that you want are real. The life that you want, the things that you want are real. This is not a fantasy, even though it is, because you're using fantasy, you're creating a theory with a pen. The theory doesn't have to be precise, the plan doesn't have to be precise, but it will come about, it will become reality. And everything you tell yourself is a reflection of your life. Everything that you're consistently telling yourself throughout the day, like, I'm so happy and grateful now that money comes to me in increasing quantities through multiple sources on a continuous basis. Those are called affirmations. So, one of the ways to identify your thoughts is to create it. Okay. One of the ways to identify your thoughts is to create it. Create the thought. Don't let the outside physical existence control the way you think. Create, create, create. From what? What are you going to create from? From something that's solid? No, you're going to create from the transmutation of energy. That's what Earl Nightingale told Bob Proctor. Bob Proctor was shocked that all the results he was getting was because of that book, Think and Grow Rich. Now, the first chapter is like the introduction, but the second chapter is like your definite purpose, your desire. Everyone has a desire. My desire was to go into the subconscious mind and basically create a life that I wouldn't have to run away from, and to help people create that same life as a mentor, as a life coach, as a certified Bob Proctor consultant. How did I get certified? Well, I took the courses. I did this. I did the work. I paid the price, as Napoleon Hill would say. There's never something for nothing. You have to pay the price. So in back of your gold card, a gold card is something like this. Now, when you write it in the present tense, but you put a date on it. Okay. And in the back of your gold card, you're putting what you're willing to give for what you want. Okay. Napoleon Hill says there's never something for nothing. You have to pay the price. When you auto suggest it, you're reading it. The first part of the creation process is when you write it down. I'm so happy and grateful now that I have residual income. I am a chairman 10, a chairman 100 with the IM organization. I wrote a New York Times best-selling book. I have multiple streams of income. I travel the world. I just bought a house. These type of things. I have no debt. I wake up when I want, do what I want. I travel when I want. I help other people. I mentor other people. I'm working with Ross Garcia. We're helping people. We're growing. Now, Wallace Wattles in the book, The Science of Getting Rich, he says there is no competition because we were taught to compete in school. Do you remember that? When they told you, oh, sorry, you didn't get first place. You got third, or you got second. Or, hey, Ross, you know what? Have a seat. I used to play basketball. Have a seat. You missed a couple shots. Let's get this other guy in here. I'm sure he'll make the shots. And then there he goes. He's making the shots. And then you're thinking like, am I a loser? Do I need to work on my jump shot? Do I need to get better in basketball? So you do what you see. And what you see, if it's not helping you, then you need to walk away. And that means toxic relationships, family and friends, the close ones, the people that are supposed to believe in you are scared of you. Why are they scared of you? Because you're going up against yourself. You're going up against universal principles that you were taught to work against, not to work with. And the reason I say that is because you were taught to work against them because they taught you to use the left part of your brain, the logical side. Get good grades, get A's and B's. You're gonna move ahead. Keep going. Don't play with crayons. You ever see a little kid in his school bag? He's got a bunch of crayons and he's coloring away. He's coloring away because the imagination is real. Anything you can hold in your mind, you can hold in your hand. Anything you dream about is real. The dream world is more real, just as real as the physical world, you know? So I love to dream. And talking about dreams, like Van Gogh was asked, how do you do so beautiful paintings? Van Gogh, the artist, he said, I dream my painting, then I paint my dream. That's why you never get an original Mona Lisa. You're getting a replica, a second copy. The original copy, Leonardo da Vinci died and he took with him when he died. You don't get an original. Everything out here was an image in someone's mind. From this glass to this green pen to these AirPod Pros to this Note 9 with the stylus. It was all someone's thoughts, and the thought became the thing. See, the thought is looking to mold and make the thought. So identify your thoughts, mold and make your thoughts, identify them, write them down. If you have 60,000 thoughts a day, how many of those 60,000 thoughts are you having that are taking you to the next level? Look, a lot of people want to become multimillionaires. And I'm going to tell you here right now, Napoleon Hill, when he would start off his lectures, he would say, I ask not for more riches, but more wisdom with which to use the riches I was born with and the power to control my own mind to whatever ends I desire. I don't ask for more riches. Riches come because of the wisdom that I'm seeking. It's a benefit, a result of the wisdom that I'm looking for. So why look for the riches? Look for wisdom. It's like I tell people, look, the more that you know you, the more your awareness grows to these faculties, these God-given abilities. You have your imagination, the will. That's focus, to focus on something. How long can you focus for? William James says you can only focus on a thought for 60 seconds at the most, and then you let it go. But you need to bring that thought back through auto-suggestion. So you have your imagination, the will, reasoning, intuition, memory, and perception. And when you change your perception, everything else will change. And that's what Bob Proctor found out. That's what William James says. He says your belief system is based upon your evaluation of something. And frequently, if you reevaluate a situation, your beliefs about that situation will change. And that's what I did, and that's what Bob Proctor did. That's why I'm not part of the rat race. I'm not I'm not part of the 99%. I'm part of the 1%. I'm part of the 1% because I wake up when I want. I travel when I want. I don't work for anyone. I write my own checks. I work with these unseen causes and I bring them into harmony with my thought because everything there ever is and ever was and ever will be is already here. But it's here through your thought. That's the magnet. That is like the switch, the connection. You are connecting to the infinite with your thought. Napoleon Hill says that your thought permeates all time and all space. It's like a frequency, just like the one that is letting you see me. Now, that frequency is through the eternal now. The eternal now is stretching. It's like the thought is like a laser beam. It slices through concrete, through titanium, through gold, through silver. It just cuts right through like butter. Your thought. It's more powerful than an atomic bomb. Okay, super powerful. Your thought. And if you only knew how much greatness you have, if you only knew your potential, because they say you have about, I think it's 32 trillion cells in your body, and every one of those cells are intelligent. So you have intelligence all over you, it's all around you, but you're looking at your lower faculties, at what you're seeing. You have a controller in your hand and you're trying to control your life, and instead you're letting the frequency, like the television station, control you. So there isn't that many people that know this information, because if I were to tell you that you can literally have anything you want, you'd be like, okay, it's that easy? Like, just to jump on calls with you and to take notes and start creating my faculties? It's just like going to the gym, working out on your biceps, and eventually you're going to, create pictures, imagination, stuff like that. Yeah, it's that easy. You wouldn't believe it. You'd say, no way, like, there is no way that that's possible. So, for me, I took my negatives and I made them positives, because I was never good in writing when I was in high school. And here I am writing books, working with Peggy McCall. So Peggy McCall is a lovely person. She's been mentored by Bob Proctor. She's a New York Times bestseller. And I first met her in Toronto at our Bob Proctor Matrix event. And then, we hung out in California, and then in Toronto. She's just a really nice person. And she was really down when she was in her 20s. At a young age, she met Bob Proctor. And Bob Proctor told her these principles, these secrets, I guess that's what you want to say. And she became a New York Times bestseller. And she even attracted her husband through these principles, because she was describing the person she wanted to be with, and her husband wasn't there yet. She was divorced. She ended up buying a house, and there was a pilot that worked for the Canadian Air Force that ended up moving in the house next door to hers. I think he had the same dog, or a similar type of dog that she had. And they met each other outside. And then, like a year later, they're literally like married. But how does that happen? That happens because you want to describe your life in full detail. Describe it in full detail. Give it order. You know, that is God's like first law is order. And because we have order, we have gravity, okay? And we're able to walk, we're able to drive, even though within that everything is moving, but we don't see it because of gravity. Now, Napoleon Hill, he was always into what Andrew Carnegie told him. And if you want to hear those conversations, you can find them in the book called How to Raise Your Own Salary by Napoleon Hill. It's a rare book, but you can find it on Amazon or online. It's called How to Raise Your Own Salary. In that book, Napoleon Hill is interviewing Andrew Carnegie, the richest person in the world in that time, in the 1900s. Now, he owned U.S. Steel. One of his companies is located on 47th and Kedzie in Chicago. For the people that are from Chicago, you know what I'm talking about. It's called U.S. Steel, big manufacturing company. And that guy has literally made billions of dollars, because Andrew Carnegie's steel was basically used to form Manhattan. All the skyscrapers that are in New York were because of Andrew Carnegie's steel. Now, supposedly, when Andrew Carnegie died, in his desk, there was two gold cards, like the one I showed you. There was two of them. One of them was he was going to make millions of dollars the first half of his life. And then the other gold card was he was going to dedicate half of his life to giving the rest of the money away. The end part of his life to dedicated to giving the money away. So it's true. Any idea that's emphasized, this is what Napoleon Hill says, any idea that's emphasized, that's either feared or revered, that's taken over to the subconscious mind, will begin to form itself in physical reality. This is what Andrew Carnegie said. My bad. So he said any idea that's emphasized, that's feared or revered, that's a polarity right there, positive and negative, feared or revered. Um, Taking over the subconscious mind will begin to formulate itself into physical reality. Taking taking it over to the subconscious mind. What did Earl Nightingale say about the subconscious mind? He said it's like the dirt. It's immoral. You could plant nightshade, a deadly poison, and not even a 16th of an inch away, you can plant corn, a sweet food. It gives you what you plant. He said in The Strangest Secret that you are the sum total of what you think about. Man is what he thinks about all day long. So identify your thoughts, identify them, bring them order, write out how your life is, not how your life is because of what you don't want, write how your life is because of what you have, even though you don't have it, because nothing's created, nothing's destroyed. You're a spirit. You're 100% evenly present in all places at all times. You have an intellect. You can reason. You can reason, and you can say, you know what? I'm going to create the life that I want. Everything that you did up to this point, you have to do backwards now. If you're used to waking up at, let's say, 11 o'clock, then start waking up at 7 in the morning. If you're used to waking up at 7 in the morning, wake up at 5 in the morning. If you're used to waking up at 5 in the morning, then wake up at 7 a.m. Everything is done backwards on this side, guys. This is not normal. Tell me about it. This is not normal. I'm from Chicago. Normal is at 37, I should be married with a family and I should have a job, 9 to 5. Well, guess what? I'm not married. I do have a son, but guess what? I'm in Spain and I'm enjoying my life and I'm making millions of dollars. I'm writing books from what? From a thought, from nothing, from the no thing. The no thing. No thing makes something from nothing. The no thing. That's what Bob Proctor calls it, the no thing. The no thing. And where does the money come from? Where are they printing out all these trillions of dollars to rescue business owners? Where is the money coming from? From the no thing, from the nothing. Because they're impressing zero with something. And that something is creation. So they want to create 5 trillion? Okay, great. Let's impress nothing with 5 trillion and give it to people and have them scared and feared for their life because of some pandemic. And then guess what? We're going to give them vaccinations. Now, just to let you guys know how much of an investigation I did to this material and how far the rabbit hole will go, how deep will it get with this material, because we're dealing with the subconscious mind. You're dealing with, you know, a very deep place in your body, in your existence, in everything there ever is. And the subconscious mind is connected to everything. So just to talk about how crazy it is, right? They said, a scientist actually said that you didn't need gasoline to drive a car. Now, check this out. He said, all you had to do was hold on to the ether, hold on to the space, and then put the ether in the hood of a car and where the engine goes. And all you had to do was communicate with the ether and drive the car with your mind. Now, the only place that I could relate that to, and these are actually scientists. Now, I forgot who the scientist was, but I did a little bit of research. And it's true. It's like if you burn water, you're going to get a cloud. But if you burn a cloud, that cloud is going to disappear. That is what's called ether. Now, when Einstein was doing the law of relativity, he looked into the ether and he's like, look, we can't measure it. We can't figure out what the radius is because it's not measurable. It's in all places, in all the galaxy, in all the universe. So it's everywhere, but it's nowhere. We can't see it. It's like the air, right? So he said, I can't figure this out. And as he was dying, he's like, I feel like I'm having a conversation with God, because I think the math was so complicated that it was kind of like mind boggling. Yesterday or the day before, I was watching It's a Beautiful Mind with Russell Crowe, a Beautiful Mind, and Connolly, I forgot her first name, but she came out in a few movies. I think she came out with Tom Cruise in that movie Days of Thunder. Anyway, to make a long story short, these scientists, they basically housed the ether. I don't know how, but they housed it and they put it in the engine of the car, and the person could actually, they said, now I'm not sure if they could drive the car, but they said that the car could actually move. There was another scientist, I'll find out who it is for you guys tomorrow, but he said that your thoughts actually have weight to them. After years of research, they said that the thought is a force. So if this has weight, your thought has weight as well. So it's a force. And it's a force that you can use to create the life that you want, or you can use to destroy you and everyone around you. Because if you ever seen a negative person, they know it all. Never made millions of dollars, never ran a business, never wrote checks out for people, never did anything that you could actually be like, man, like you're helping, contributing to mankind. No, instead, what do? They talk shit. They put you down. They tell you that you're not gonna make it. You're not gonna make 100,000 a week, 100,000 a month. They talk shit to you. And then you are looking at your bank account and looking at the people around you literally tell you, no, it's not going to work. Don't call me anymore, blah, blah, blah. But you're going to go through a testing time when you're sowing and reaping, because there's a law. And the law states that there's a season to sow, there's a season to reap, but you don't do both in the same season. And I relate that to the law of gender. The law of gender states that there's an incubation and ingestation period to every seed, but we don't know what it is for a woman having a child. It For a woman having a child is 9 months, but we don't know what it is for a spiritual seed. A spiritual seed could take, in Bob Proctor's case, it took him over 40 years to create a company that operates all around the world. In my case, to make $1.75 million by January 1st, 2017, it took me 3 years. But you have to keep sowing. You have to keep sowing. It's like that seed. It will sprout out, but it takes time. It takes time for that seed to sprout. And it's like from here to then, what are you going to do about it? Like, that's the question everyone asks me. Like, hey, Ross, how could I attract it faster? You know, if you're looking at energy and electricity, it's like high amplitude of vibration. And I believe that the way to attract it faster is by jumping on these calls, by believing in the unseen, in that image, in your desire, in your dream, and staying there and hitting a brick wall, you know, and then hitting a brick wall, and then hitting a brick wall, and then finally it's over. You break through, and then now you're on to the next level, and then you're on to the next level. But it's like you set the price. You set the price. You set the bar. Aim high, like Napoleon Hill says. He's like, ask for a bounty. Be modest, but don't be too modest. Ask for something. Go for the 10, 20 million. What difference does it make? He said it himself, Napoleon Hill. He says, the subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between a penny and $1,000,000. It doesn't know the difference between big or small. It doesn't know the difference between the dream world and the real world. And through auto suggestion, you can impress the subconscious mind. And when that happens, you'll remember this day. You'll go back to this video. I still do when I listen to Bob Proctor and John Canary. Never met John Canary, but I used to talk to him a lot over the phone. He was Bob Proctor's business partner back in the 80s, John Canary. and he lives in Toronto. I was setting up a time to meet him. I might give him a call this week, but you know, he's older now. Bob Proctor's older now. Now, age has nothing to do with this. You've always been here. Age is something just to limit your capability. The whole point of living on this planet is to give you limits. But the reality is there is no limit. I can't doesn't exist. It's only I can. You're the opportunity. The opportunity is not in the outside world. It's inside you. It's in you and all around you. You mold and make. You shape. You create. Do everything backwards, guys. I'm telling you right now. Do the shit that is uncomfortable. Do the shit that scares you. Do the shit that they tell you you can't do. Because when you do that shit, when you do it, you're gonna be like, yo, guess what? Check this shit out. I fucking did it. I fucking did it, dude. And guess what? I'm fucking thankful. And I'm literally tapping myself, giving myself a pat on the back because I believe in me. I don't believe in what other people say. Why? Because I only believe in what I'm listening to and what I know works. Because I tested this shit. I tested this material. I tested it. I tested it, and I'm continually testing it. I wrote down in a goal card a few years ago. I'm so happy and grateful now that I got 20 properties paid off for my retirement. On the back of the goal card, I put what I'm willing to give. I'm willing to help people at the loan modification clinic to buy the 20 properties for my retirement. I thought 20 properties would get me straight. Then I realized, well, shit, what's the difference between 20 and 100, right? The only difference is maybe you might need a project manager, a real estate agent to manage your properties. But hey, guess what? That can come from part of the expenses. And to talk about expenses, I put on a goal card that I have residual income, that I'm running businesses with little expenses. Because it's what you write that will become. The energy is looking to create, it's looking to become. The energy goes into the mind and it produces the thing. It goes into the mind and it produces the thing. And once it's done with that, it goes into the mind and it produces another thing. And then when it's done with that person, it goes on to another person. It's almost, hey, guess what? Create a sweater and create a company called Hugo Boss and create some AirPod Pros. So these people are getting the thoughts from the infinite. They don't even realize it. They're like walking zombies getting thoughts from the infinite. Thoughts of what? Thoughts of whatever there is, whatever there ever is, ever was, and ever will be. Thoughts of flying cars? Yeah, sure, why not? Uber's doing flying cars now. Jetsons? Oh yeah, Jetsons. Let's microwave a pizza in 10 seconds? Great, let's freaking do that. Because everything there ever is, ever was, ever will be is already here. But you can't see it. It's infinite. You can't see somebody discovering a wagon. You can't see somebody discovering a Model T. You can't see Mercedes-Benz making a Mercedes-Benz. In the beginning, before there was even a handle on the wheel, like the thought, you couldn't see them figure that out. You couldn't see the Wright brothers flying a plane. You couldn't see Napoleon Hill struggling, making his books, The Laws of Success, with a typewriter. Now, all you do is text to speech. You just grab a microphone and just start talking, and it types out the book for you. But all those inventions were already here. The cell phone was already here. All the shit that we think about is already here. All you got to do is work in harmony. Live in a spirit of gratitude. Instead of talking shit to other people or other people talking shit to you, work in harmony. Be grateful that you wake up and you can breathe, that you can have a glass of water, some H2O, some oxygen in your brain where you can run and you can reprogram your life, because that's what a paradigm is. A paradigm is a negative program in your subconscious mind, and that program is dictating the results that you're getting in your life. So work backwards now. Work with the energy. Create a new program that makes the old program obsolete. That's why Ralph Waldo Emerson said, he said, in order to create a new model that makes the old model obsolete. It's like the invention was already here. You don't have to create the wheel. All you got to do is add to it. So you don't need to recreate something. All you got to do is take from the people that did it and just make it your own, make it better. Like, I'm not going to sit here and be Bob Proctor in a suit and a tie and come up with lights everywhere. No, because I'm moving. The world is moving. People are moving. I'm moving around. I'm here. I'm at the gym. I'm doing things. I'm making things happen. Everyone's making it happen in a different way, but everyone's different. So take this material, make it your own. Believe in this information because, like I said, why would you be in the rat race? Why would you be there pissed off at your life, yelling at your kids or at your wife or husband, getting into fights because there isn't any money and you can't pay your bills? Trust me, I've been through all that shit. It's not worth it. It definitely is not worth it. Use your energy, identify your thoughts, have a plan. It doesn't have to be precise. Create a fantasy, have a plan, write it out, take action. The how will present itself to you. You don't have to worry about how it's going to happen. The how will come. That's the beautiful part. It's like me, I was telling myself, I live in Europe. Now, I didn't put what part of Europe, but guess what? I'm living in Spain right now. I have an apartment in Spain. Am I a European? No, I'm not. But guess what? I live in Europe. The how will present itself to you. You may want to write that down if you've been new to this information. You may want to write that down and put it in the mirror. The how will present itself to me. That's how this stuff works. So grab a pen, make a big number look small, okay? A big number. Go for the big goals and don't let anyone stop you, because trust me, it wasn't up until I almost killed someone that I let everybody control the way I think. But then now it's like I hurt someone. I owe it to him. I owe it to me, to my family, to his family, to get this information out, to help other people, because you can be anything you want to be. You're the only problem that you will ever have, and you're the only solution. That's what Bob Proctor told me. He's like, look, Ross, if you're going to get into arguments in this relationship, I want you to understand one thing. He said, what is it? You're the only problem you will ever have, and you're the only solution. And most of the fights that you're having with people that you're in a relationship with, you're arguing with yourself. You're fighting with you because you're looking to become. And maybe that person isn't fulfilling your wishes, your desires, because you're a spirit. This is what he said. You're a spirit. You're for expansion and fuller expression, never for hard times. You're looking to become. You're looking to grow. How can you do it if you're poor? How can you do it if you have a lack mentality? So think from the end. How does the end look like? And do you have it written down? So I hope you guys found this call useful. I want to thank you guys for your time. Let's see how many people on the call. Okay, so I want to congratulate everyone. Mr. Kane, Kelly, Chris Cross, Kumari, Naila, Robert, Riyadh, Sab's iPhone. Okay, Sab, V, Chime, Wendy, and Yemi. So, like I said, guys, I'm gonna take a screenshot of this, and let me open up this phone again. Sorry about the interruptions. So, guys, all the calls are on Wealth Mindset Group on YouTube. Go to Wealth Mindset Group, and you'll find this call there in an hour. You'll find the call, and I post them on the groups every single day. So tomorrow we're going to be covering chapter 4. I want to thank you guys for your time. And remember, if you're new to this information, take notes, because the more notes you take, the more money you make. The note takers are the money makers, right? And not only that, but you have to understand these principles because you were taught to see, smell, taste, hear, and touch. And those are your sensory factors. We want to not that they're, we don't need the sensory factors, you know, sensory faculties or factors, uh, but we need the higher faculties. We need the imagination. We need to work on those things: imagination, the will, reasoning, intuition, memory, and perception. Change your perception, everything else will change. Imagination. Look, if someone told you you can make millions of dollars with your imagination, would you believe them? Then you're going to sit there and think, well, shit, how the hell does that happen? How does that happen? So the more you get on these calls, the more you're going to understand how it happens. Trying to figure out why people are joining the call right now, if the call is over with. But like I said, the call will be on YouTube, Wealth Mindset Group. And look, guys, I know that you guys really want your goals, your desires to manifest into physical reality. I get it. Trust me, I do. There's things that I want to happen tomorrow. But this is a journey. This is a growth process. Don't think about it as, man, I don't have it right now. This shit does not work, or I'm tired of waiting. I'm tired of being positive. I'm tired of being broke. All this stuff, right? Just be grateful that you're on these calls. Okay, that'd be the first thing. Be grateful that you can wake up, that you have a life. Okay, so just be grateful for those things while you're practicing these things. Okay, when you start practicing these things, when you're grateful for the little things that you already have, then guess what? Your life is going to be so much better when you achieve these goals because you already achieved them. I'm telling you right now, nothing is created, nothing is destroyed. Everything there ever is, ever was, ever will be is already here. It's in a certain dimension, it's in a certain frequency. You can't see it, but it's here. Just like the Wright brothers when they created the plane, just like Uber that's getting into drones where you're able to travel short distances in the air. That is happening, and it already happened, and it will happen. 3 dimensions, past, present, and future. But live now, be grateful now, have a vision, have an imagination, a desire, a visualization factor where you can go in there and visualize and then attract it. The attraction, you're gonna pull it in, just like when you grab a fish with a rod, you're gonna pull it in. But when you're pulling it in, it's like, how do you feel? I feel great today. That's why there's people on the call, people that are still on the call, because I feel great. I'm delivering a good speech. I'm giving a good lecture, a good philosophy on this concept. That's how it works, because when you feel good, everything else comes to you. So I want to thank you guys for your time, and log on tomorrow. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Hope you guys like the call. Go to Wealth Mindset Group on YouTube. Talk to you guys tomorrow. Peace out, guys. Have a good one.